A world free of gender-based violence.
A world free of teenage pregnancies.
It is my body,
my conscience, my world.
I and only I will answer to my maker.
I and only I bear the responsibility of my own action.
Give me liberty, give me peace.
Give me the space
to be the best that I can be.
Watch me soar, watch me create a world we can all be proud of.
Gentlemen, a round of applause for Yolanda Miguel, all the way from Angola, with a cultural dance. And now, to bring it back home, we have a vocalist from Nairobi by the name of Miss Chessa, accompanied by Priscilla Ari Okot on guitar, all the way from Uganda. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for that performance.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. You all look so lovely. I know one thing you didn't think you were going to do today is sing, but I will ask you to sing. Is that okay? Thank you. Thank you very much. So it's a very simple song. It goes like this. You'll be okay. Hey, hey, hey. Let me hear you. You'll be okay. Hey, 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 hey. So when I sing it later on in the song, I expect that you're going to join me. Is that okay? Thank you very much. When quiet isn't quiet enough, when silence getting louder, when peace eludes your troubled mind, hold fast. When doubt and fear your closest friend, when loneliness keeps knocking, when healing is a thought so far, believe. When mental wars refuse to cease, when sighing brings no relief, when sadness sadness gives you sleepless nights, hold on. You'll be okay. 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 Everything's gonna be alright. 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 Everything's gonna be okay. You'll be okay. You'll be okay. Something inside so strong. I know that I can make it. Though you're doing me wrong, so wrong. You thought that my pride was gone. Oh no, something inside so strong. Oh, something inside so strong, so strong. I know that I can make it. Though you're doing me wrong, so wrong. You thought that my pride was gone. Oh no, something inside so strong. Oh, something inside so strong. Oh, something inside so strong.
What incredible vocals there from Les Chessa, accompanied by Priscilla on the guitar, giving us a very encouraging message for the afternoon. Thank you so much for your talents. And now moving beyond Africa, please help me in welcoming an artist of movement. She's traveled here all the way from Venezuela, and her name is Vanessa Blanc. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Vanessa. Vanessa from Venezuela, thank you for sharing your incredible talents with us for this closing ceremony. And we continue with performances from all around the world. But Vanessa first would like to share a message with us.
Ok, voy a hablar en español. Yo no soy una bailarina profesional, soy activista de los derechos humanos y actriz. Este es el bolso que le dan a las mujeres venezolanas para llevar todo su viaje, sus sueños, sus ideas, sus propósitos de vida, su casa, su hogar. Y mi sueño es que algún día estas mujeres tengan que despedirse de este bolso para siempre. Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias. Thank you so much for that, Vanessa. And now, please join me in welcoming this performance by singers and dancers from the Pacific Island to bid us all a fond farewell, all the way from Tonga. From Tonga to Nairobi, thank you for that incredible performance. And it really is in the spirit of celebrating the gains made that we now welcome on stage another group of dancers. I would like to now introduce the Afrian dancers from West and Central Africa who happened to be at the reception last night. In case you missed it, here they are. Please help me in welcoming Afrian.
Okay, so please, on demande 1 minute de silence en mémoire de l'ancien directeur exécutif de l'UNFPA, Dr Babatunde. Merci. Thank you. Put young people, put young people, put young people. Thank you.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Thank you so much for being here for this historic moment once again. My name is Janet Mbogwa. I'm your MC for the closing ceremony of this historic summit, ICPD 25, where it's really a mood that's celebratory but reflective, because we've come far, but we still have a long way to go. We're soon going to be welcoming our co-conveners to the hall so that we can kick off our official program. Once again, please pay attention to the exit closest to you. And if you would like any translation headsets, please make sure you find them at the back of the room. For now, we'll enjoy some music and also see some videos highlighting some of the key moments from ICPD 25 Nairobi Summit. Thank you all, ladies and gentlemen, for being here.
Today I marched to advocate for the girl child because I also advocate for sexual health reproduction and we also train it. As Miss Youth, I get to mobilize people on free cancer tests for the breast and cervical cancer, and also we also get to invite the girl child for sexual reproduction health, whereby we give them free family planning methods, condoms, but for both male and female. And of course, as an adolescent, I also stand at the forefront to make sure that every female gets to know her body and be able to take care of herself.
We are FHOK, Family Health Options Kenya, Nairobi Youth Center. And we are here for the work to accelerate the promise because of zero child marriage, zero maternal death, and zero teenage pregnancies. Yes, that's what's up. Hey, go. That's what's up.
It gives me great joy to join you all this morning for the official kickoff of the Power March aimed at raising awareness for this week's International Conference on Population and Development, ICPD 25.
To make our voices heard on behalf of millions of others, especially the women and girls.
I march so that I can ensure young girls, especially adolescents between the ages of 15 to 19, get access to free sexual reproductive health services.
Let us remember today the 830 women who will die and the thousands more who will survive with severe injuries, all because of complications of pregnancy and childbirth, preventable complications, and this is why I march.
Today, thousands gather here in Nairobi from over 100 countries, dozens of international organizations, over 200 civil society groups, and many leaders from private sector. This was one of the essence of the first International Conference on Population Development that was held in Cairo in 1994.
I am proud to be here, proud that Denmark is co-hosting this event. We have been on the road to Nairobi for a long time.
The desired outcome of ICPD was to give choice to the individual. This milestone has fundamentally shaped the lives of women and men and families and the societies in which they live.
As accelerators for the Sustainable Development Goals, the outcomes of the Programme of Action must be carried forward. Our common framework for people, for planet, for prosperity, peace and partnership depends on it.
Let us deliberate over the next 3 days, and let our deliberations be guided by the needs, the aspirations, and the unrealized potential of those individuals who are not here.
I wish to congratulate the United Nations Population Fund, UNFPA, for their sterling leadership and unwavering support to member states, including Antigua and Barbuda, for the past 50 years. Sustainable development can only be achieved if we accelerate efforts to ensure access to quality education and healthcare, universal access to sexual and reproductive health, and the overall empowerment of women and girls.
I'm in Nairobi for change, for betterment of women globally.
Estoy en Nairobi para el cambio.
Moni nonse ndabwera ku Nairobi kuzasintha zinthu.
Ndini James Chavula ndiza ku Nairobi ku Kenya kuzakasintha vinthu.
Ndine Doreen Sonani ndiri kuno ku Nairobi kuti tisinthe zinthu ku dziko lathu la Malawi.
Ndi Nairobi kubera impinduka.
ما به خاطر تغییر به کشور کنیا در نیروبی آمدیم.
I'm in Nairobi for change.
Mundomu ni muchanji.
Saya Eki dari Indonesia. Saya di sini ingin membuat sebuah perubahan.
Nazo Nairobi ni dan agiaga.
Mutwani kaofela nani za kwa Zambia nitile kwanu kwa Nairobi kwa Kenya kwa kutochinchalika. Dikaze talima bupiro wabasali ni banana.
November 12th to 14th, 2019 saw the world convene in Nairobi to affirm its commitment to create a safer, more equal world for all, a world that guarantees sexual and reproductive health and rights of all its people, a world defined by 3 zeros.
Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to ICPD 25 right here in Nairobi, Kenya.
Mesdames et messieurs, bonjour. Je suis Kenyan, je m'appelle John Sibi Okumu.
With lessons from Cairo 94 fresh in the minds of delegates, the Nairobi Summit on ICPD 25 was bound to be different.
I marched to intensify funding on the ICPD Programme of Action.
Naandamana kuzuia vifo vinavyotokana na uzazi. أنا أسير لإشراك الصغار في اتخاذ القرار. I march for humanitarian needs.
We commit to intensify our efforts and investments to lead global efforts to achieve 3 transformative goals. First, 0 preventable maternal deaths. Second, 0 unmet need for modern contraceptives. And third, 0 violence against women, including child marriage and female genital mutilation.
Leading the charge to accelerate the promise was Kenya's very own President Uhuru Kenyatta, who kicked off over 12,000 commitments, which was made by close to 200 countries represented in the summit.
Let us deliberate over the next 3 days, and let our deliberations be guided by the needs, the aspirations, and the unrealized potential of those individuals who are not here.
The desired outcome of ICPD was to give choice to the individual. And choice is very powerful. This milestone has fundamentally shaped the lives of women and men and families and the societies in which they live.
Quite a bit of progress has been achieved, certainly in the case of Uganda. Child mortality has gone down, maternal mortality has gone down.
We commit to strive for 0 preventable maternal, neonatal, and child deaths by intensifying delivery services, antenatal care, and postnatal services in all health centers.
I'm absolutely convinced that girls and women must be supported to play.
Nelman, Member of Parliament for the Liberal Party and Chairwoman of the All-Party Parliamentarian Group on Sexual and Reproductive Health and Rights of Denmark, Her Excellency Dr. Natalia Kanem, Executive Director of the United Nations Population Fund, and His Excellency Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, William Ruto. Thank you, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. You may now take your seats. Thank you. We've had very important conversations. We've built partnerships. We're working towards a strong country and world for girls and women everywhere. And really, we ought to thank our co-conveners for bringing us all here to make this a reality. Now, I know many of you are going to be leaving after this, and by that I mean leaving Nairobi, but some of you still will be staying back to enjoy our beautiful country. Please take a look at your screens as we enjoy some highlights of Kenya. And there have been so many incredible moments for the ICPD 25 Summit. Here now is a look at the key highlights.
The Programme of Action recognizes that healthy families are created by choice, not by chance.
This is Freya from Denmark. I march to build peaceful and inclusive society where all people feel valued and able to shape their destiny.
I'm Tale from Uganda. I march to intensify efforts for full, effective and accelerated implementation of funding for ICPD Programme of Action.
I march to provide timely data, health innovation and improvement to your data systems.
This is Nasiran from Kenya. I march for zero unmet needs for family planning information and services and availability of modern contraceptives.
I march for zero sexual and gender-based violence in order to realize individuals' potentials.
I'm Samara from Ethiopia. I march for adolescents and youth to get information and services to make informed choices for their sexuality and productive lives.
This is Chinedu from Ghana. I march for humanitarian needs of populations as critical response to humanitarian and environmental crises.
I'm Angela from Rwanda. I march for national budget, domestic financing, and exploring new innovative financing to implement ICPD program.
I'm Tracy from Eritrea. I march to increase the percentage of official development aid to ensure universal access to SRHR.
I'm Diana from South Africa. I march for investing in adolescents and youth education, employment opportunities, and health.
I march.
I march.
I march. I march. I march.
I march.
I march. I march. I march.
march for a world in which all young girls reach their full potential.
I march for a world where everyone has an equal voice.
I march for women empowerment.
I march for gender equality. This is why I march.
I march for all adolescents to get the support they need to live healthy, happy, and productive lives. I march for young people's rights to be heard and be leaders in the communities and countries. This is why I march.
I march for freedoms, the freedoms that every woman and girl must experience to achieve their full potential in society, including the freedom to make sexual and reproductive health decisions of their own. This is why I march.
I march for women and girls. I march for gender equality.
As a young woman, seeing this become a reality, it's important for me and important for so many others around the world. And now we're going to hear some personal takeaways and personal commitments. And those of us who are going to be making their remarks, I'd like us to come on stage, because really this has been an impetus on all of us. I made a commitment, I hope you all did. We saw that there's 1,250 of them already made. And each of these incredible people is going to give 2 minutes of what it means to them and what they commit to do. Let's encourage them, ladies and gentlemen. They will each introduce themselves one by one and give their personal takeaway and their commitment.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Naisola Likimani, and I'm with the Global She Decides movement. Here are three key issues that stood out for me over the last 3 days. One, we must listen to the voices of the excluded, the people who don't get to be in these rooms. The importance of data and evidence has been highlighted repeatedly in this summit, and rightly so. We cannot, however, overlook the lived experiences of individuals. We must listen to women and young people. We must believe women and young people in all their diversities when they tell us what they need. For example, no amount of data generation shifted the conversation on violence against women for years. But the voices heard through movements like Me Too made us all sit up and listen. If we are to leave no one behind, we must ensure the periphery becomes the core. Two, I have to mention abortion. If there's one thing this summit has done, is taken the elephant in the room and put it squarely on the table. We've heard inspiring testament on the need to address unsafe abortion from political leaders representing very diverse countries from around the world. The time is now. We will not reach zero preventable maternal deaths and injuries if we do not address the need for safe and legal abortion services. And finally, we need to work across divides. At She Decides, we bring together political leaders, young people, civil society, creatives, academia, and more. And at this summit, we've seen evidence of the power of working together. But we can go further and we can do more. And young people must be at the heart of this. They will live the consequences of our discussions and our commitments made here. They demand this, to be in these spaces, to be heard, and to be involved in decision-making. As the She Decides movement, our commitment is clear. Here in Nairobi and going forward, we will work tirelessly to create the new normal, a world where she decides about her body, her life, and her future without question. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My commitments are not very different, in fact. My name is Haifes Didi, and I'm a Tunisian social activist and entrepreneur. And here are my 5 main takeaways. Firstly, This conference was a platform to highlight both the successes and the failures of the global community in achieving the promise. Thus, and with a grand pride that humanity came to a day where we're no longer afraid of sharing our frustrations openly, I hope that the lessons are well absorbed and that we're ready to act on our commitments rigorously. I hope that all of us, we're no longer invited to ICPD-related conferences because we will not be needing it. Secondly, the world is changing at the fastest pace in human history. If anything was to be accelerated, then governments, civil societies, private sector, international organizations, and individuals need to be as comfortable as ever with change. This is harder to be achieved in rigidly structured organizations, so the challenge would be to rethink, each one of us, from our positions, new ways to add flexibility to our daily operations. This brings me to my third point, innovation. I know for a fact that the expression might sound like an abstract, generic word from sci-fi movie. However, and as much as innovation does involve high-tech and futuristic technologies, it could also be found in our oldest embedded practices. Anything that adds value is indeed innovative. Let's learn to spot our local daily innovations, learn from them, and capitalize on them, because that would save us more time than recruiting experts, projecting different biases and value systems, and redoing the work from scratch, only to realize that it was not effective. Fourthly, it is time for the private sector and gigantic investors to step up, not only because it showcases consciousness and awareness of the worldly challenges, but also because it appears to be financially profitable. Finally, it is important for us young people to have our place on the table, not because we're motivated or enthusiastic or we know how to spice things up. Partially, yes, but most importantly, because we do have substantial things to say, and that we should embrace it with full humbleness and zero entitlement. We might have some of the answers. Every engagement is meaningful if you open our eyes, minds, and hearts enough to detect the insights and hidden messages behind human behaviors. It's not the words that matter, it's what we take from them and how we act on them. And on that note, to your countries, ready, steady, go.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon. My name is Marianne Etiebet, and I'm the lead of MSD for Mothers. We're also known as Merck for Mothers in the US and Canada. And I'm here to represent our company's $500 million commitment to help create a world where no woman has to die giving life. What ICPD has taught me, and I want to actually have a shout out here to the leadership of UNFPA and Natalia, thank you, is that when we march together in a spirit of inclusion and in a spirit of partnership, we can change the lived experiences of girls and women in all corners of the world. And we can change their futures, and we can create a future world that we are proud our children and their children will inherit. Why I'm here, why I'm standing here, I'm so excited to be doing that, is to be able to share with you how your partners in the private sector have stepped up. In the last couple of days at ICPD, they have committed a total of $8 billion to helping us all achieve the 3 zeros. And so that's $8 billion to create a world of 0 preventable maternal deaths, $8 billion that can be used to solve for the unmet need of family planning, and $8 billion that can be used to support efforts for 0 violence and harmful practices against women and girls. So thank you for your partnership, and we all look forward to continuing to march with you in this spirit of inclusion and partnership. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Lantunirina Rakutumalal. I am from Madagascar, and I am the first ever female General Secretary of the Africa Alliance of YMCAs. The ICPD 25 has reaffirmed to me that young people, especially young women, must be at the forefront of all discussions and initiatives if we are to achieve the goals. If we want to accelerate, we can't lie but from the majority, and we agree all young people are the majority. They have the opportunity, they have the strength, and they have everything to make the promise happen. The YMCA, reaching 65 million in 120 countries, is committed to empower young people. Youth empowerment is our motto. And we are committed to ensure to provide young people space, voice, and ability to influence. I thank you.
Good afternoon. I am Antje Jackelén. I'm the Archbishop of the Church of Sweden. And my takeaway is SRHR is a win-win concept. Societies that are gender just will flourish more than those that don't. However, if you want to address these issues successfully, you need to engage faith communities. Because the majority of people belong to faith communities, and faith communities have stable access to people even in areas where state structures are weak. And change of behavior involves worldviews, deep intrinsic values, and spirituality. Now, some churches continue to be part of the problem, but even more so, churches have been, are, and can be part of the solution. We have a sound theological basis since the Creator created humans equal, endowed us with reason to understand nature, including our sexual nature. And bodies matter to God because, according to Christian faith, God took on a human body in Jesus Christ. Commitments. Keep at it together. Cultivate perseverance and hope that has room for anger about injustice, humility when it comes to our place in creation, and courage to change. Challenge false theologies. Lift up research that shows the effectiveness of gender justice work, and lift up good examples, both from governance and grassroots levels. Empower women in leadership. And last not least, provide safe and brave spaces for difficult conversations and keep those conversations going. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Sheikh Hassan Kenyo Omari. I am the National Chairman of Al-Wahda Muslim Teachers Association in Kenya. My key takeaway from this summit is that the two cousins who are the founders of two key religions in the world, Muhammad, peace be upon him, and Jesus, peace be upon him, came to liberate human beings from all harmful practices. So that I don't create any confusion, how does Jesus and Muhammad become two cousins or relatives? They all come from Abraham. Prophet Muhammad comes from Ishmael's side, Jesus comes from Isaac's side. That's how they are related. Now, together we can end sexual and gender-based violence, just as Prophet Muhammad taught us, kullukum ra'in wa kullukum mas'ulun an ra'iyatihi. Every one of you is a guardian and responsible for what is in his or her custody. I therefore commit to inform all and educate my community to be merciful and eradicate all forms of discrimination against any gender, especially women and girls, just as Allah taught and advised his prophet, peace be upon him, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. And we have not sent you but to be mercy to the worlds. God bless you all. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Chris Murray. I'm the director of the Institute for Health Metrics and Evaluation and an academic. During this important summit, I think we heard many studies that told us of the nature of inequalities in sexual and reproductive health around the world. But I think we also learned there's a real need for better information at the local level, because a lot of action that's required to achieve the 000 commitments is required in local communities. And so we all need to work on having timely, local, and valid information. And to do that is, as we learned in this meeting, is going to require innovations in data collection and analysis. My second reflection is that this is really quite a watershed for going beyond description about inequality to talking about how we can change the arc of the future through actions that we take and through funding that is invested. We had, because of the leadership of UNFPA, the discussion, presentation of the cost of achieving the 000 targets. And that cost is large, $264 billion, but it gives us a tangible notion of what's required. But it's more important than the cost, it's that we now are talking about how we can understand how the arc of the future is changed by the decisions we make today and the investments we make today. This is a big change. In the past, the very recent past, decision makers get presented with graphs of the future as a fixed line that's driven by time and not by their action. And now we need very much to take this the next step and say, the way we make decisions, the money that gets spent today will change the course of the future. So my commitment, and along with my many, many colleagues in academia, is to try to create those tools for decision makers at every level so that they can understand how their actions and funding are going to change the trajectory of the future. It's not immutable, it's malleable, and we can achieve these outcomes. Thank you very much.
Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, my name is Lindiwe Zulu.
I am the Minister of Social Development from the Republic of South Africa, speaking on behalf of Partners in Population and Development, an intergovernmental organization of 27 developing countries in which over 60% of the world's population live. It is indeed a great honor for me to offer closing remarks at this, what we all agree with me, has been a highly successful Nairobi Summit on the ICPD +25 held against the theme accelerating the promise. I hope when we leave here, we will be able to accelerate that promise. We're deeply appreciative of the legendary leadership, hospitality, support of the government of Kenya in hosting us. Throughout these 3 days, we welcome thousands of participants, including royalty, heads of state and government, prime ministers, vice prime ministers, and ministers from around the world as international national agencies and institutions. But I also do want to say what excited me was welcoming a lot of the young people who were very voiceful in each and every area where we are. Our hope is that conference of this nature should not end with discussions only, but move towards implementation, and implementation. This will ensure that we can meet again. We are provide progress reports on the improvement of the quality of life of all peoples of the world. We are here because we want to create a better Africa and a better world. The PPD's 16th International and Interministerial Conference held in Tunisia earlier this year adopted the Tunis commitments, which included the 3 zeros, namely to end preventable maternal deaths, to eliminate the unmet need for contraception, and to end gender-based violence and harmful practices. Additional commitments were made to promote South-South and triangular cooperation. As far as South-South and triangular cooperation are concerned, we should commit to the following: increase financial resources, including domestic, bilateral, and multilateral funding to launch transformational and effective South-South triangular cooperation to improve productive health and reduce maternal and under 5 mortality rate, to include South-South and triangular cooperation in domestic and global population and reproductive health strategies and programs, adopt and strengthen national policies to advance South-South triangular cooperation, including through sharing of knowledge, lessons learned, and good practices, and technical cooperation in the field of population and development. Make more efforts to support the development of a more effective center of excellence on South-Side triangular cooperation for population development. Excellencies, over the past 25 years, developing countries have contributed substantially towards promoting South-South cooperation. Earlier this year, the PPD member countries adopted a strategic plan for South-South cooperation to expedite progress of the ICPD Programme of Action and Sustainable Development Goals through partnership building with UN agencies, including UNFPA. We therefore call on the rest of the international community to support PPD to implement this important strategic plan. I thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jayatma Vikramanayaka, and I am the United Nations Secretary General's Envoy on Youth. I am very pleased to be on stage among our very valued partners as a United Nations official. I know I'm not dressed like one, but trust me, I am. So I was asked to speak about the key takeaways that emerge on ICPD and the SDGs in this Nairobi Summit. Well, there's just one thing to say. It is that without achieving the goals and targets set out in the ICPD Programme of Action, there is no achieving of the SDGs. A strong conversation that emerged in the last 3 days is that despite the attempts to put ICPD into a box and label it as an SRHR agenda, we believe that it is an SRHR agenda, but not only. If you look at it from the lens of the SDGs, it is not limited to SDG 3 on health and SDG 5 on gender. It is about SDG 1, alleviating poverty, SDG 4, education, SDG 10, inequalities, SDG 16, honest, responsive institutions, SDG 17, partnerships across the UN, government, civil society, private sector, faith leaders, youth organizations, everyone, everywhere that is represented on this stage. ICPD, therefore, is a development agenda, it is a humanitarian agenda, it is a peace agenda, it is a climate change agenda, and it is a human rights agenda. As we approach 2020, 5-year anniversary of the Sustainable Development Goals, we are at a crossroads with just 10 years to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals, the most ambitious agenda that the international community agreed on for people and for planet. The next 10 years has to be a decade of action, not a decade of inaction. We cannot leave anyone behind, and after 2030, there cannot be any unfinished business for my generation to finish. I would like to summarize my takeaway with a quote, which was my favorite quote from the entire summit. Sorry, Natalia, it's not from you. Yesterday, at the youth signature session, young LGBTIQ activist Martin said, and I believe that it applies to every human being, and he said, our existence and our identities are not up for debate. Our bodies are ours. Our human rights are not controversial, and our lives are not less worthy. So my commitment is I will take back Martin's word and the words of thousands of young people that I made here to the United Nations, to my work, and I hope that all of you would do the same. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Priscilla Nyamal, a 19-year-old refugee from South Sudan living in Kakuma refugee camp in Kenya. I am a member of Kakuma Youth Parliament. It's a humbling privilege and honor for me to address you at this historic ICPD 25 Nairobi Summit. Thank you for the decision not to leave girls like me behind. We are the generation born after Cairo, and we are ready to accelerate the promise. The summit has affirmed my faith in the power of nations to embrace the fullness of human life beyond numbers and place dignity on women and girls. I have been inspired by the discussions and resolve to uphold, promote, and secure women's rights as human rights. I return to Kakuma with renewed hope that no girl shall share childhood with our child. No woman shall suffer at childbirth. No violence against women and girls. I return to Kakuma assured that the promise shall fulfill the desires of girls to become leaders like Dr. Natalie Kamel. Because the road to school is safe and they are confident about their bodies. My commitment as a young person is to go beyond zero. Thank you all, especially UNFPA and UNHCR, for seeking the voice and leadership of young people as the promise to address the 3-0 is globally renewed. Your good work helped me survive child marriage. And thank you, Kenya, for being a country where refugees have voice and their choice is understood. Your example is my privilege to South Sudan. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Stacy Akinyi, a 14-year-old girl from Kibera slums. I am an ambassador at Polycom of Sports, and I'm delighted to be here. My highlight of this summit is the commitment of my president that other girls and I who are worried about their education can access it without no worries. And that we are protected from harmful practices like FGM and child marriage. As a matter of fact, I will be 39 years old when the next ICPD plus 50 will be held, and I will work hard to accelerate the promise. I would also like to urge the stakeholders in this room to invest in sports and safe spaces for girls like me from challenging background to be in. And I would also like to thank UNFPA for empowering girls and to continue with the good work. Thank you very much for taking your time to be here and to leave all your work just to hear our voices. Thank you very much and welcome back to Kenya.
Thank you. Thank you all so much. A round of applause. I'm stopping. Religious voices, young voices, academia, private partners. We appreciate your voices in this summit. Really has a spirit of inclusion. Absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. And while they've emphatically given their own takeaways and commitments, to your screens are some key takeaways, about 10 of them really summarized from the Nairobi Summit. We'll take a short look. That really is a summary of the key takeaways, about 10 of them from the Nairobi Summit on ICPD 25. I know it's very personal for everyone, but that really captures the spirit of the key highlights. And before we hear our closing remarks from our co-conveners, we want to still stay in the spirit of celebrating. I know we've danced and sang a fair bit, but I don't know that we're done. And so I now have the distinct pleasure to introduce to you a recording artist from Morocco. He has recorded with the Cuban-American rapper called Pitbull on the bestseller Habibi, I Love You track. For the 2014 World Cup, he was featured in a football-themed song called Magic in the Air. He joins us here today to share a special song that he actually composed for us here at ICPD 25. And he was nominated by Sustainable Development Youth NGO as the International SDG Star. He's a recording artist all the way from Morocco. He's called Ahmed Chouki. And just before he performs, he says he has a special message that he would like to share. Let's welcome him to the stage.
Good afternoon. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, young women, young men, you are not just the future. You are all leaders, our leaders of now. I'm coming today from Morocco to share with you a story that I hope will inspire you. At 1982, a town far away from a city, in a small room, mother that was left by her husband was given birth to her beloved son by her own self, with no one there to help. This mother raised her child in hardest situations they could never, ever live. But she always made sure that he will get the best education. In this last year of his high school, after getting his diploma, he migrated his mother country to search for a better life. And after 10 years, he came back to his country disappointed with no goals achieved. But life has its own tricks, and eventually a new path has started for this young man. And somehow, one day he came across an international producer. Together they were able to achieve so many success, such as singing in the World Cup and being #1 in so many countries. Despite this success and all these hardships, he had a lot ahead to achieve. Alone with his beloved family and the support of his wife, sisters, children, and most importantly, his amazing mother. He always made sure that his work will serve humanity and peace. Thanks to this, he gained the Sustainable Development Youth Trust that nominated him to be an international SDG star. His commitment to promote the end of gender-based violence and empower women and men led the UNFPA to collaborate with thank you. Him celebrating ICPD with a song that carries a huge message related to humanity and development. This person that I was talking about is the man that is standing here. It's me. So, the lesson that's why all should learn from this story is to never give up on yourself and on others. And always, always, always follow what you love, because doing what you don't want will only keep you away from finding your true self. Thank you so much. And now let's sing.
This is the story of young Nairobi, who's been trying to change the world. From a small town far from a city, life was hard on a little girl. In a house full of siblings, she took care of her aching dad. But when they made a promise to make mama and papa proud, civil lies far, people still love is our reason. Call the world for salvation, together forever go. Together we rise, keep on dreaming and believing. Together we rise, together we rise, keep on dreaming and believing. Together we rise. Hunting high and low, never letting go, always facing the world with no fear. All those sleepless nights, learn to read and write. She's now ready to pursue the dream. In her town they were singing songs of love with happy tears. As she fulfilled the promise, she made mama and papa proud. Saving lives for people, still love is our mission. Calling the world for salvation, together forever go. Together we rise, keep on dreaming and believing. Come on! Together we rise, keep on dreaming and believing. Together we rise. Together we rise, keep on dreaming and believing. Together we rise. Together we rise, keep on dreaming and believing. Together we rise.
Thank you so much. It's first time I perform it. So let's sing another one, okay? It's also called Humanity and Peace.
Here we go, this is the time of our life, the time of our life. Here we go, this is the time of our life, the time of our life. لازم نلغي كل الحدود ونزرع الخير في الوجود. من وين ما جينا نضل وحد، نغير الأحزان بالورود. يلا نعيش أحلام كل إنسان كل زمان. يلا ننور الأيام بنجوم بالسلام. بالبار. Here we go, this is the time of our life, the time of our life. FPA, come on! Hey, hey! Here we go, this is the time of our life, the time of our lives. جمعنا الحب هذا اليوم، نتمنى فرحتنا تدوم. كنا نغني للسلام أنا في كل مكان. يلا نعيش أحلام كل إنسان كل زمان. يلا ننور الأيام بنجوم بالسلام. The
ICPD! Tout le monde! Aye, aye, here we go, aye. The time of our lives. I said, better. Why we see destiny. Realize now we want the great show. Oh, come on, everybody, come on. Oh, hey, 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 hey. Woo. Oh, yeah, yeah. The time of our lives. Here we go. This is the time of our lives. Woo! Woo! Thank you. Let's do the last one.
This is Shauki. You're gonna sing with us in this one, yeah? Feel the magic in the air.
Thumbs up!
Feel the magic in the air. Feel the magic in the air.
Tout le monde, feel the magic in the air. Levez-les mains en l'air. Feel the magic in the air. Hey, hey, hey. Comme d'habitude, on est calé. Oh, oh, oh. Comme toujours, ça va aller. Entraîner l'ambiance à gogo. Tous ensemble, on fait le show. On t'invite à la magie. Y a pas de raccourci. Oublie tes soucis. C'est bien faire la folie. On t'invite à la magie. Y a pas de raccourci. Oublie tes soucis. Feel the magic in the air. Levez les mains en l'air. Feel the magic in the air. Levez les mains. 1, 2, 3, go, go, go. Feel the magic in the air. Levez les mains en l'air. Feel the magic in the air. Levez les mains. Oh. Thank you so much. Love you.
Thank you, Ahmed Chauki. That was going to be a full-on concert. Thank you for that incredible energy. As a fantastic way to wind down. Thank you. Ahmed Chauki all the way from Morocco. Right, so the room is energized. That's fantastic. We might have one more small surprise a little later on, but I'm jumping ahead of myself. What's about to happen up here is also so important. It sums up how we've made it to 25 years. It is my honor to invite our co-conveners on stage to take their seats. Please, we will be hearing from them shortly. Honorable Ms. Karen Ellman, Member of Parliament for the Liberal Party and Chairwoman of the All-Party Parliamentarian Group on Sexual and Reproductive Health and Rights of Denmark. Her Excellency Dr. Natalia Kanem, Executive Director of the United Nations Population Fund, and His Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Dr. William Ruto. At this point, I would now like to invite to the podium to give her closing remarks, Honorable Ms. Karen Ellman, Member of Parliament for the Liberal Party and Chairwoman of the All-Party Parliamentarian Group on Sexual and Reproductive Health and Rights of Denmark. Welcome.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in your diversity. I have been looking forward to say this. The Nairobi Summit is a success. We've done it. In Denmark, we firmly believe that women and girls' rights are human rights, that sexual and reproductive health and rights are essential to reach the SDGs. This belief goes across Parliament and political parties. I'm a proof of this. As chair of the All-Party Parliamentarian Group on SRHR and member of the opposition, the Minister of Development Cooperation asked me to make this closing statement on behalf of Denmark. What an honor it has been for Denmark to co-convene this summit with Kenya and UNFPA. Dedication, commitment, and hard work do pay off. And what an amazing 3 days it has been. So much engagement, activity, discussion, dialogue, inspiration, and not least, concrete commitments to realize the ICPD Programme of Action by 2030. The Danish delegation and I have been reflecting on our main takeaways from the summit. Of course, there are many, but we are in particular proud of the following 3. First of all, we wanted the summit to be an inclusive platform from start to finish, that everyone would participate on an equal footing, no highs, no lows, and this has been achieved to the fullest. Youth has been debating and engaging with presidents, civil society with private sector, local chiefs with government officials, and this interacting and shaping of new alliances is absolutely key to reach the 2030 finish line. Second, we wanted active involvement of youth to be front and center of the summit, and they have been. We cannot and will not finalize the implementation of the ICPD agenda without you, the youth. Third, we wanted to focus on the how, and we got more than 1,250 and still counting commitments over the past 3 days. From Kenya's commitment to end FGM by 2022, thank you, the private sector's joint pledge to provide funds to achieve the 3 zeros, to civil society's commitment to make comprehensive sexuality education an integrated part of school curricula. Each and every one important in its own right. These commitments will keep us on our toes and ensure that we stick to our promise to all women and girls. Denmark's commitment to ensure effective follow-up on all promises made here at the summit comes with a guarantee label. Enough talking. Now we are walking, leaving no one behind, because the ICPD agenda is for all. Sexual and reproductive health and rights is for all, period. All voices have been heard. Also, a few voices reflecting what I would call pushback on the agenda, unfortunately. I find it very hard to understand how anyone can be against the right to decide over your own body, your own life, your own future. Let me mention one example. The pushback on providing access to health services, such as safe abortion. You can make abortion illegal. It will happen anyway. but often under unsafe conditions, which can be fatal for the woman. It is estimated that 25 million unsafe abortions take place every year. This number is way too high, and it will only go up if we give in to the pushback. So Denmark will do its part to make sure that this does not happen, that the fight for women's and girls' sexual and reproductive health and rights continues, that pushback is being pushed back. And these last 3 days have reassured me that we can do this. The Nairobi Summit has made it clear that an overwhelming majority of countries wants to accelerate to the promise of Cairo, that an overwhelming majority of stakeholders wants to partner in this effort to make the ICPD Programme of Action a reality for all. So thank you, everyone, for engaging, inspiring, and taking responsibility, and have safe travels home. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your remarks, Honorable Karen Elman, for that. And now it is my pleasure to welcome to make her closing remarks Her Excellency Dr. Natalia Kanem, Executive Director of the United Nations Population Fund. Welcome.
Excellencies, distinguished participants, friends all, what an inspiring 3 days of commitment and recommitment we have had. Thank you, Nashukuru Sana. Energy, excitement, passion. We have seen and felt all of that and more this week. We've shed a few tears as well, and we have come together. Over 9,500 participants from more than 170 countries with a profound sense of shared purpose. We have learned together, we've celebrated, we've engaged one another, and we've shared the common bonds that unite us through music, through art, and through dance. We've explored how we can do better, where we can do better, and why we must do better. More important, we have made commitments. We've held ourselves accountable, and we are taking action. Thanks to all of you, we are closer now than ever to realizing the clear vision of the ICPD Programme of Action and the Sustainable Development Goals. We have focused all our conversations, all our efforts, and all our energy around a single number and a simple single vision, and that's zero. Zero barriers to contraception and reproductive health care. Zero preventable deaths in pregnancy and childbirth. Zero gender-based violence, assault, and abuse, which means zero child marriages, zero cases of female genital mutilation. Zero, 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 triple zero. And zero is closer than ever before thanks to the Nairobi Summit. Thanks to your commitment, thanks to your passion, your resolve, your insistence on fighting for a better future for girls, for women, for everyone, everywhere in the world. I would like to thank the leadership of the governments of Kenya and Denmark in supporting this summit and championing rights and choices for all. And to the governments of Australia, Canada, Finland, Germany, Iceland, Ireland, Italy, Korea, Luxembourg, Norway, Switzerland, and Sweden. And to our many, many private sector partners, thank you for your additional financial support and for making these 3 days possible. And I would like to add, bravo to those who worked to prepare and to pull off this summit. the UNFPA, the Kenya, the Denmark dream teams who burned the midnight oil for months on end to get us to this moment. Above all, thanks to everyone who pledged this week. The summit mobilized more than 1,250 commitments from around the world, including billions of US dollars in pledges from public and private sector partners. More than 160 member states have made their voluntary commitments so far. This attests to the extraordinary relevance and resonance of this agenda in countries around the globe. The ICPD is alive and well. Countries, you've committed to increasing national health budgets, to expand access to modern contraceptives, and to train midwives and do so much with health workers. Countries committed to greater inclusion of people with disabilities, of those who identify as LGBTIQ, of anyone who has been excluded, so that everyone can access services and enjoy full and equal rights. They committed to pass laws to prevent gender-based violence and to eliminate female genital mutilation. We heard President Uhuru Kenyatta with his historic pledge to end FGM here in Kenya within this generation. Countries set in motion actions to harness the demographic dividend, to grow their economies. Governments promise to include young people in decision-making, truly heeding the call, nothing about us without us. Young leaders and activists here, thank you. Thank you, thank you for challenging us, for inspiring us, for pushing us, and for leading us to do more. Ours is an inclusive agenda, and this, I believe, has been a unique and inclusive summit. A broad, strong coalition across countries, continents, and cultures, and that is what it's going to take to get the job done. Let us move forward now together to protect and promote the rights of all people, especially women and girls. This is the great hope for humanity. This is why we march and why we continue marching. And UNFPA will be marching with you every step of the way. We will never lose sight of who it is whom we're fighting for. For the past 12 months, all roads have led to Nairobi. But our journey was never just about these 3 days. It's about the march that continues. The Nairobi Statement, a transformative, agenda-setting framework, captures the commitments made this week. I'm pleased to announce that UNFPA will create a new high-level commission to drive this agenda and our commitments forward. We will draw from the full spectrum of stakeholders: government, private sector, young people, activists, civil society, philanthropy, among others. The Commission will propose ways to monitor progress on the commitments made here this week, while accounting for all already existing global, regional, and national follow-up mechanisms. Based on the Commission's recommendations, UNFPA will regularly report on the 12 global commitments embodied in the Nairobi Statement. Together, we will work over the next 10 years, the years of action, towards results for women and girls, in keeping with a decade of delivery on the Sustainable Development Goals. Together, we will make sure that promises made are promises kept. We know what we have to do. We know what it will cost, and we know why we do it. We do it because women and girls matter. We do it because sexual and reproductive health and rights matter. This is what unites us. I know we will succeed. The reason I know this is what we have done here. It's because young leaders around the world are counting on us. but they're not waiting on us any longer to advance the vision of a better tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you for calling on all of us to work harder, to aim higher, to move faster. That's what we need to do to realize the world we all want. So now, as we leave Nairobi and return to our countries, we shall answer that call. If we succeed, when we succeed, when we keep the promises of Cairo, when we keep the commitments of Nairobi, there is no doubt that years from now, a new generation of women and girls will look back on what was done here, and they will say, Nairobi is when we made opportunity a reality. Nairobi is when we stopped just talking about rights. We took action to uphold them. Nairobi is where we, at long last, did the work to put a brighter future within reach for generations to come. In closing, I will say, Tusongo Mbele, let's keep moving forward. No retreat on women's rights and choices. We will not back down. We will never give up. Adelante, forward. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Dr. Natalia Khanum, Executive Director of UNFPA. Thank you for those remarks. And before the closing remarks from His Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, we now turn to our screens for a video on behalf of the Government of Kenya. And now, ladies and gentlemen, to make his closing remarks, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Dr. William Ruto.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished delegates, good afternoon. I have been to many conferences, and if attendance is any measure of success, this conference is in its own class. I say so because this is the only conference I have attended that there are more people at the closing ceremony than there are at the opening ceremony. But having said that, I do not know what is left of my closing remarks after listening to the little girl from Kibera, Stacy. I think she could have well has made the closing remarks on behalf of the government of Kenya. but let me try. It has been delightful to be with you in the course of this week, and I'm greatly honored to speak as we close the ICPD 25 Nairobi Summit. On behalf of the government and the citizens of Kenya, I convey our appreciation for the honor of hosting you in this city of Nairobi. We love hosting, and our culture esteems visitors and considers the opportunity to host a tremendous and a precious one. Our joy in having so many of you from such diverse backgrounds and many countries of the world is immeasurable, and we don't take it for granted. Distinguished delegates, over the quarter of a century since Cairo, our world and our societies have changed immensely. They've become more populous, more diverse, and more complex. With these changes, more challenges as well as enormous progress has been made. Determined cooperative efforts by the international community, effective initiatives by national institutions, and inspired efforts of dedicated individuals has kept the determination strong and alive. Acknowledging changes and challenges while keeping the faith has driven us to this point. Here in Nairobi, we have revisited our commitments as captured in the ICPD 25 Action Plan and evaluated them against the changes and challenges that 25 years of growth and increasing local and global complexities bring. It has been quite encouraging to note that the fire still burns and that our determination remains strong. The plan of action was well set out in the 5 thematic areas. We have seen that every country made credible efforts to advance the commitments, and indeed commendable progress has been achieved. We have also witnessed here that there is vast willingness to go even further in ensuring that the human rights and dignity of the individual remain the focal point of agenda for progress. In particular, I'm encouraged by the consensus that has emerged that advancing women's rights and well-being is at the center of unlocking the social power that is needed to drive positive economic and political transformation. Indeed, investing in women and girls is good as an end in itself, but also yields tremendous dividends that accelerate sustainable development in terms of reducing inequality, poverty, and unemployment, and also generating continuous growth. This consensus makes our work on the unfinished business of the Cairo Plan of Action much more realistic. Let us seize the moment and the opportunity, therefore, and make a big push to give a stronger assurance against gender-based violence, maternal deaths, female genital mutilation, early child marriages, as well as unemployment, poor school enrollment, transition and completion, and inadequate skills. We realize that the strength of our commitments to the ICPD Plan of Action is commensurate with the speed of attainment of the Sustainable Development Goals. As President Kenyatta said here on Tuesday, we shall accelerate progress in our commitments by packaging priority actions and programs that guarantee concrete outcomes. Secondary and tertiary education, more rapid reduction in maternal deaths, the total elimination of FGM and child marriages, and the acceleration of equal participation by women in all spheres of social, political, and economic endeavor will take priority in our policy, in our legislation, and in our budget. This focus will require stronger partnerships with other governments, development partners, civil society groups, private sector, religious communities, and most critically, women and youth in their individual and collective outfits. Our commitments are intrinsic components of Kenya's constitutional dispensation and national socio-economic transformation blueprint. The implementation of our commitments is coordinated through our National Council for Population and Development, which led the technical committee that prepared this summit and our implementation plan. The committee will also champion the tracking of implementation and report annually to the President. We carry forward a message that we have agreed in unison regarding the 000 commitment: zero unmet need for family planning, zero preventable maternal deaths, and zero gender-based violence and harmful practices against women, girls, and youth. I know everyone else has put in place similar mechanisms to ensure that these commitments are met with appropriate action, programs, and interventions. I wish all of us good luck and Godspeed as we embark on the good work going forward. I must thank the government of Denmark and the leadership of the UNFPA, who co-hosted this beautiful and successful event with Kenya. I acknowledge with tremendous gratitude the Secretaries General of the United Nations, the African Union, and the Chairman of the African Union. I also extend sincere gratitude to their Excellencies, heads of state and government who attended the summit, as well as all delegates who took time to be here and for committing great effort to contribute to the outcomes in this conference. We relish, as Kenya, your presence. Since we all agree that you have all worked really hard and done very well, I invite you to reward yourselves with a delightful attraction of our beautiful city in the sun. And indeed, if you find it difficult to leave Kenya, as many will, here is the reason. Kenya, by scientists, has been identified as the cradle of humankind. This is home to all of you, and you are welcome back home. And you are welcome to stay and to enjoy the unforgettable charms of magical Kenya. I thank you all. Kongoi mising, erokamano, oriomuno, newegamuno, asanteni sana, merci beaucoup. God bless you all. Thank you.
Asante sana. Thank you so much, His Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, for those wonderful closing remarks. I would now like to invite our co-conveners to take center stage for a photo opportunity and a moment of appreciation. We thank you for your leadership. We thank you for bringing us all here together for this historic summit. Thank you. Thank you all so much. I may invite you to return to your seats, and in the same spirit that we marched here, flew here, walked here, drove here, with such passion for ICPD 25 is the very same way we would like to march out. And that's why, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to invite somewhat of a surprise performance by the first African female artist to reach about 1 million subscribers on YouTube. She's won awards from BET and MTV and has sung our way into the hearts of many. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor and pleasure to welcome to the stage Yemi Alade!
Baby, I go love you, your love is sweet like tangerine. Baby, I go hug you, your love is sweet like. Baby, this in the city shock you like a me. Yeah. Daddy, it make you want to spend all your money. Yeah. Let's go. See us how they go. Now only if it to make me throw up. See us how they go. Now only if it to make. Everybody, get it wah. Get it wah. Get it wah. Baby, you go loving me, your love is sweet like tangerine. Baby, you go hugging me, your love is sweet like. Baby, I go loving you, your love is sweet like tangerine. Baby, I go hugging you, your love is sweet like. Baby, alle, some pretty tangerine. Some pretty tangerine. Beautiful people. Get it wah. Get it wah. Get it wah. Get it wah. Sing. Get it wah. Get it wah. Get it wah. Get it wah. Yeah. Baby mukeke oh. Baby mukeke oh. Baby mujojo. Are you ready to party? We need to celebrate today. Yeah. Baby mukeke oh. Baby mukeke. I want to show you a move. Are you ready? Head, shoulders, knees and toes. Okay, tumbum. Yeah, me I know you like it, get you jala. Hey. I know you like my beans. I know that she give you for food. You put time for my soup. Baby, what you gonna do? What? No time for tumbum. Who man can they tumbum? Hey, forget your tumbum. No time for tumbum. Who man can they tumbum? Oh yeah, nah. No time for share out my love and you want. Share out my body you need. I know you like to get your dollar. I know you like my beans. I know that she giving you for food. You put that on my soup. People, come forward. Hey. Tumbum, I need him to come forward, guys. What? I know come here for tumbum. Don't do me tumbum. What? Tumbum. Come When you walk, you open up my door. It be like say, the sun never shine when you are not around. You're my sunshine. Oh, you're not dance now. Baby, you're my hand. Now the thing is one. Make I be your baby. You gon' be my man. Baby, you're my hand. Munagi get me, baby. No need to the drink, I mean, what?
But we got just find money.
Baby, sing with me. What? Sitting up. Everybody. A-I-S-S-I-N-G. Baby, me and you. Sitting up. Sing it. A-I-S-S-I-N-G. The man is on butter. You are a more and butter. You make me feel like. Come on, people. Yeah, man. You make me feel like. Yeah, come on. Yeah, yeah. Baby, mukakao. Baby, mukakao. Baby, baby, mujojo. Mujojo, mujojo, eh. Baby, mukakao. Baby, mukakao. Are you ready? Shaku, shaku. Baby, shaku, shaku. Baby, shaku, shaku. Baby, shaku, shaku. Baby, shaku, shaku. Baby. Come on. Today is a very special day. Am I right? If you're with me today, say yeah. Can I hear you all the way down there? Let me hear you say yeah. And for the girl child, right here, right now, I am a living testimony of what women can do. Invest in a woman. Because when you invest in a woman, you've invested in an entire generation. If you're with me, let me hear you say yeah. And so, sing this song with me. Anywhere you go, London or USA.
Sing it. Yeah.
Anywhere you go, New York, Chicago. Sing it.
Yeah.
Biko waruya wai. Wayaka, wayaka. Karibu kiti, kiti. Utapewa nini, nini. Biko waruya wayo. Wayaka, wayaka. Karibu kiti, kiti. Utapewa nini, nini. Let's go!
Let's go. To the left, to the right, to the left, to the right.
making sure that we have seen today. And that we will leave here with the information that has been given to us. Are you here with me? Can I hear you say Baba Asante? Can I hear you say Baba Nagode? Can I hear you say Eshe Baba? Asante sana, asante sana. Sing with me. Person way walk is supposed to chop. He's supposed to rock. Abi? He's supposed to. Person way walk is supposed to dance. He's supposed to flex, yeah. He's supposed to pop. Abi? But never forget, yo. Say no be by mighty, yo. Always be thankful. What? Brother, no be crime me, oh, to spend your money. Even if you no get it, oh, never forget to say.
Say it. One more time.
And if you to get it, oh, never forget to say. Are you ready? Give it to them. We're rocking Versace, riding Ferrari, cruising Bugatti. Hey! We going higher, we don't go retire. We get the paper, this is my desire. Even if you no get it, you never forget. What? And if you to get it, you never forget. Sing with me! Yeah! Because yeah. Now okipata, yeah. Yes. Sing from the heart. Ata okikosa, yeah. What? Now okipata, yeah. Ata ukikosa, le. Sema sante. Is Johnny here tonight? Where is Johnny? Now you be Johnny. Where is Johnny? Where is Johnny?
what time it is, so you know
what you say?
Problem.
Oh yeah, nah. Yeah. Yeah, me all I did. Sing with me.
Sorry, I'm dancing.
I need to say I don't do up like the way they do. Johnny give you jebele. Stop say what money in there. Walking can you Johnny Mo. Everybody, let's go. I'm looking for my journey. Huh? Where's my journey? Johnny Mo. Do you know Johnny? What's your? I don't see my journey. I'm looking for my journey. Looking for my honey. Telling me this, telling me that. I say this is not for me. Johnny do me honey. He do me honey. Doing me this, doing me that. But I know the time on me. He go Canada, he go Tokyo. I see there he say, he dey Morocco. He done this, he go, he Singapore. La line, Pinocchio. Hey! Original baby. Johnny leave me for the Cynthia. And I don't know what to do. I need to say I know do what. Johnny give you chebele. So say what marine. Okay, carry for them. What? Everybody, let's go. I'm looking for my Johnny. Where is my Johnny? Ha! Do you know Johnny? Ha! If I don't see my Johnny, that's why I'm mad. Are you ready? Are you ready now? Let me see you boogie down, yeah! Ha! What?
Thank you. Good night.
Johnny leave me for the Cynthia, and I don't know what to do. I need to say I don't do what. Johnny give you chebele, so say, okay. Johnny Mo. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Can I take a big picture with every one of you? All right. Guys, I'm going down on my knees so I can see every one of you. Video? Okay, guys, come in, come in. Come in, guys. I'll be right here. Guys, it's the end of the show. Security, do you mind if they just come a little bit close here, please? Thank you. Just here. Just here. I need to see them. Easy, no pushing. I promised him that we're of good behavior, right? Yo, this phone has a code. Okay. Wait, guys. At the count of 3, I want you to say ICPD. Are you ready? and you and you and all of you. Asante sana Nairobi.